képviselőnek adok szót, parancsoljon öné a szó.
Thank you, Madam President, honourable members of the European Parliament. Very high-capacity internet connectivity, fixed and mobile, is essential to unleash the next wave of the European Union competitiveness opportunities and innovation potential, and to allow Europe's businesses and citizens to harvest the full benefits of the digital single market. The communications of European Gigabit Society and the 5G Action Plan for Europe identify the tools needed to bring this about. The Commission has recently reported on the status of the initiatives presented in these communications as part of its mid-term review of the progress of the digital single market. The effectiveness of the proposed actions depends largely on the engagement of Member States and of the European institutions, in close cooperation with all relevant stakeholders to provide the policy, regulatory and financial support that is required. I also want to underline that for achieving our vision of connectivity, we need to change the regulatory framework. The Commission proposed ambitious reform of electronic communication rules, which is essential for deployment of 5G and broadband. Without better coordination of spectrum, we would not be able to achieve connectivity that is needed for tomorrow. Your report also stresses the importance of mobilising the necessary financial resources as well as the use of EU financial support to leverage public and private investments. We have to combine structural funds, national, regional and private funding. This report and the endorsement by the European Parliament of the new 2025 strategic objectives for internet connectivity in the digital single market will be an important step. We look forward to working with the European Parliament and the Council on the key elements of the proposed strategy, in line with your resolution as well as on the related legislative proposals, including the necessary investment stimulating reforms in the European Electronic Communications Code. All these steps are essential to make the European Gigabit Society a reality. When it comes to digitising industry, the report of Mr. Bütikofer very much highlights how to make the digital transformation a successful revolution, from developing digital infrastructure, supporting businesses, to helping workers acquire the right skills. We presented our strategy to digitise European industry 1 year ago. Since then, we have made substantial progress. As Vice President Ansip has already informed you, €3.5 billion over the next 3 years will be allocated under the Horizon 2020 programme for investment in key technologies and their integration along the value chain, as well as for digital innovation hubs. At the Digital Day held in Rome in March, we launched an EU-wide forum to coordinate national plans to digitise industry, the European Platform of National Initiatives on Digitising Industry. In Rome, we also reached a very important agreement on high-performance computing. Today, scientists, researchers and engineers need access to world-class HPC to process vast amounts of data. It could be to simulate a complete airplane, for climate modelling, genome sequencing, or for understanding the human brain. Several EU governments committed to supporting the next generation of computers, and we expect more Member States to join the initiative. Your report rightly identifies that the big challenge ahead is the mobilisation of the necessary financial resources and the use of EU financial support to leverage public and private investments. We have to mobilise and pool structural funds, national, regional and private funding to achieve our objectives. I welcome your suggestion to study future sources of investments for industrial digitisation. The report also highlights two important issues which are at the heart of the digital single market review: data and cybersecurity. At present, data flows and access to data are often held up in the EU by localization rules or other technical and legal barriers. Restrictions on localization prevent the scaling up of SMEs providing cloud computing or data hosting services. As announced in the DSM midterm review, the Commission will present a proposal on the free flow of data in autumn. Regarding cybersecurity, as we saw less than 3 weeks ago, cyber attacks are a constantly evolving global threat. Later this year, we will review the EU's 2013 cybersecurity strategy, present certification and labelling measures to make IoT devices more cyber-ready, and review the role of the EU's Agency for Network and Information Security to make certain it can help EU countries respond adequately. The European Commission is working on making sure Europeans, businesses and citizens can fully benefit from the digital transformation. We need to develop an inclusive digital society whilst boosting European competitiveness. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, señor Vella. Señora Lauristin.
President, colleagues, Employment and Social Affairs Committee was discussing this report with a great interest and concern.